money shouldn't be a barrier to learning. A lot of shops are now like one person out back, one person on the shop floor, someone that owns the shop, and it might be the entire staffing.
I think commonly they'll buy simple bikes that aren't set up correctly by people that haven't had the training. And then when they don't work, they don't question the competency of the shop, but they won't go back. It will just sit in the shed.
I can't watch a load of Grey's Anatomy and then go to a hospital and go, yeah, I'm a doctor. But unfortunately, in the cycle industry, you can watch a load of YouTube videos, go, yeah, I'm a bike mechanic now.
Toby.
Josh.
Being a mechanic. It is something that you've done for a very long time. It's something that you're very, very good at.
Thank you.
Can you just give us some grounding in your early career? What was it like right at the start when you entered the industry?
It was tough. I joined the industry at quite a good time where bike shops were making money. The post-2012 Olympic boom was still in full swing. So shops were busy, lots of bike sales, lots of repairs. Most mechanic jobs were fairly straightforward. As we've all seen, the industry's changed quite a lot and things have got more complicated. So yeah, it was quite an interesting progression coming from catering background into a mechanics role. I was very lucky that I had a supportive shop that I worked in, and the mechanic I learned off, Gary Curtis, is still one of my best friends. Like, we ended up living together, working together in various roles. So yeah, learned a lot from him, and yeah, a lot of learning through mistakes and going, I've broken this. How and why have I broken it? What do we do to fix it and stuff like that? So,
what do you think the biggest difference is now that you work for SRAM compared to when you started?
The support that's out there in the industry, I think. Obviously, everyone having a supercomputer in their pocket makes life loads easier. I'm regularly doing calls and stuff just using my phone and pulling up information. That just wasn't possible when I started. Like, phones weren't that good.
No.
Access to information was always a challenge. Everyone wanted to like keep everything a secret. Like, oh no, that's us. Like, that's how we do it. We don't want anyone else learning it. And it's like, oh, I need to learn it because I need to fix it.
Yeah.
So yeah, working for SRAM in this era is really good because communication across the business and with access to information is so much easier than it used to be.
And for those that haven't come across you in the industry, or likely those in the public that haven't met you since you worked at Evans Cycles in a shop front, just give us an overview of what your role is with SRAM in the UK.
So my very long title is SRAM Technical University Coordinator for the UK and English-speaking parts of Northern Europe. What that actually means is I support people who can understand me with technical questions. So I deliver education via email, via calls, via webinar and in person on technical things. I'm not going to tell you why our wheels are more aero than our competitors or anything like that, unless you really want to know. But I will tell you how to service the free hub and why we use cognition oil and not something else, and that sort of information. The things that the people who have dirty fingernails want to know, rather than the people who get commission for selling bikes. Yeah.
I think you connect with almost a hidden part of the industry, in that you often get people at the front of the shop who will be very keen to sell you the latest and greatest, but it's the people with the dirty fingernails, as you say, that are behind the counter working diligently and quietly to make sure that your bike is running after, well, a winter like the one we've just had, which is, well, the one we're in the middle of, which is incredibly wet.
Yes, yeah.
What sort of experiences shaped your pathway into teaching?
Honestly, it sounds really stupid that I deliver training because I was really good at breaking things and not understanding how things work, because that's kind of key to it. The difference is I had a passion to try and figure out why I'd broken it, how I'd broken it, and how I should have done it differently, where the resources for me to learn how to fix it were, like what the alternatives were, and things like that. So yeah, having that passion to go, hang on, I've made a mistake here. I need to not do this again, because eventually I'm either going to get fired or I'm going to have to pay to fix it myself. So yeah, that hunger for learning, just every time you learn something new, you get slightly better yourself, which is really incremental improvements. But over, the decade or so in the industry, the more you learn and the more of that information you retain and the better you get at finding that information, just means you're in such a better position to improve yourself and actually support others as well. Yeah. Because I think that's something that's more challenging these days in workshops. So a lot of shops are now like one person out back, one person on the shop floor, someone that owns the shop, and it might be the entire staffing.
Yeah, lean crew.
Yeah, because overheads are really high, bills are really high. The industry isn't in the same spot it was when I was in the industry, and I had Gary almost holding my hand through all of my early mistakes. We don't have that anymore, so we don't have that peer-to-peer learning in a shop. So it's really important that we try and support those lone mechanics that are out there trying to figure out the newest technology and why things have changed and how to work on it, and something new's come in that they haven't seen before. Like, how do we get that information to them, and how do we get them to support that customer in the long term? Yeah,
it certainly seems to be a newer or a more newly popular business model. In that even I myself was mobile for a little bit, doing mobile repairs, and there's folks that'll be watching this that are mobile bicycle mechanics. And for them, or for those that are younger and just starting out and doing it, I think there's a lad in Watford that started his own thing out of a shed in his back garden. And I think he worked in a shop for a couple of years based on his background, and has continued. But it's making sure that people like him, people that are on the road, are continually supported. Because, if you're on your own, and I fully appreciate this, if you're on your own or if you're building something part-time, you don't necessarily always have the commanding time to drop 2 weeks on a SciTech course. Also, 2 weeks and $2,000 or $3,000 or whatever it is now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, money shouldn't be a barrier to learning.
No.
That's why a lot of the support we offer is free and accessible. All of our documents, they're all online, which is a double-edged sword, because we put so much out there. It's actually difficult to find the right one you need at times. I had a bespoke frame builder messaged me asking me for frame fit measurements for a UDH hanger. I'm just like, I'm going to have to go to an engineer for this. Spoke to someone, they're like, oh no, it's on the bottom of the web page. It's just there, like in a freely available document. But because there's so much out there, it's difficult. Yeah. And time for people to dig through it is tough as well. So it's good that not only myself, but other people in the industry help facilitate that learning. I'm one of the reasons I was keen to work for a brand like SRAM is because I can forget like 75% of what I need to know in the industry, because I don't need to know the ins and outs of competitors' derailleurs anymore and stuff like that, which was like a huge challenge in my previous role, where anything could walk through a door of 70 plus shops. And people were reaching out to me going, how do I work on this component? I'm like, I haven't even heard of it.
Yeah. And Evans, at least in my mind, they were sort of seen as the premium brand of the high street. Yeah. You had, odd independents that would sell things that were, for commuter or leisure. You would have Halfords, which would sell your entry-level bikes, and then Evans was there, like shining, gleaming in green, and you'd walk in and there was a $6,000 BMC on the floor, like on the shop floor, not just lying down. But it's not quite like that anymore. It's much more sports directy. But I think it having that reputation, you could have had anything from a 6-speed free hub kids bike, freewheel kids bike, basic sort of thing, right up to, hey, I'm going to the Andes next week, and here's my roll-off hub.
Yeah.
Can you please service it? And the bike would need all sorts of things doing to it. We saw all sorts. I think the weirdest thing I saw when I worked for Evans was a side-by-side tandem.
Oh, nice.
No, not nice. Pain to work on. That's a good thing Park Tool have just released their alternative cycles adapter. It's got some sort of an acronym.
They always do.
Yeah, some sort of acronym, and it's for their electronic lifter. It's to help you service cargo bikes. Not that sort of thing. We were trying to find like 2 or 3 Feedback Sports temporary work stands. I think someone brought in a work stand from home just so we could get the thing in the air. No, I totally appreciate that. There's advantage in specialization.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Do you find that people are frequently reaching out to you then?
I find the people who reach out to me will repeatedly reach out to me, which is great. Like, I'm not complaining about that at all. People often say, oh, I'm sorry for bothering you again. I'm like, this is my job. Like, you're allowed to bother me 40 hours a week. Sometimes more, because I'm quite friendly like that. I'm more than happy for people to reach out to me and support, as long as it's on the right subject matter. I would say I've got 40 hours a week, but that soon gets filled up.
Don't call you about GRX.
Yeah, I'm going to just swerve all of the questions about competitors as much as I can.
No, that's totally understandable. But it's good that in the UK there's someone that's not just been plucked from a corporate entity, but is actually worked up through the ranks of training. And we'll touch on this a little later, but Toby's not just a mechanic trainer or educator. You've also done things with World Tour teams. And you've been all over, and SRAM? Race Across America. So all sorts of things. We'll come on to that perhaps a little later, but for now, what sort of responsibility do you feel for mechanics that reach out to you? Because you seem quite compelled to find them the answers and to really help. I'll just message an engineer, I'll just drop them a Teams message and that sort of thing.
So some of the challenges are that when people reach out, I need to make sure I'm giving them the right answer, and I need to try and back that up. Things change in our industry so much, and even within our own product ranges, some small changes happen. Like I was saying to you earlier, all of the documents that we make freely available to everyone, they're all live documents. So if we realise there's a spelling mistake, or the picture's in the wrong spot, or we change something, we update it really, really quickly. And if you don't continuously go to those documents and just remind yourself, sometimes you can miss something. I've worked with mechanics recently, and they've been talking to me about how they've been bleeding brakes, and I'm like, okay, talk me through it, show me how you're doing it. And they're sticking with the old way of having the brake perfectly horizontal, where the document's been updated to say if you put it at 45 degrees, you've got a better flow of air through the port. And it does make a difference. So it's those sort of things that we need to try and support people with. Sharing that information is tough.
I suppose keeping it up to date, you've got to share the initial information, and then you've got to overwrite the information at a later point and say, actually, we found a better way of doing this. It's not like you're contained in a factory where you can issue a training protocol to all of your staff. There's no control. It's completely on the I suppose you have an element of proactivity about doing it, but it's on the individual business owners or the individual mechanics to seek out the information and ensure that the updates are locked in their workflows.
The other thing for mechanics is hopefully they're all busy. They don't have time to continuously get in contact with me and go, oh, has anything changed? Is there anything we should know about? And even when I'm offering support. So like weekly webinars, there's never a good time to do a webinar because it doesn't work for everyone.
No.
So I've got a lot of people that will join them, but some people will miss them, and it's normally the webinar that they miss where something's been updated.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I didn't catch that one, and that's why I didn't realise that had been updated or changed.
Do you ever, with the webinars, do you ever release anything like a PDF minutes at the end of the webinar of what you spoke about? Or
what's really nice is that because I do it through Microsoft Teams, it automatically records it, it automatically transcribes it, and it automatically translates it as well.
Okay.
So some of the webinars I've done have been like across Europe. So there's been best part of 200 people on there from literally everywhere. The premise is that they should have the ability to speak some English, because I don't, like, my Duolingo streak's pretty good, but I'm still pretty basic. So they need an understanding of English, but actually because most of it is done with like document cameras pointing down, and I'm physically working on the product and I'm talking through it as I'm doing it, most of them can see what I'm doing, and even if English isn't that great, they'll understand because there's the visual element. Yeah, I am talking about it, and then they've got the translated transcript at the end, and they can go back and rewatch it. And I think, depending on what version of Teams you've got, it will automatically translate the language that's spoken as well. So it's good.
I'm not sure all. I suppose it depends company to company, doesn't it? Because a lot of people have the free version of Teams rather than the commercial.
Yeah. So we have the commercial one because we're all over the world. It is really useful. In
terms of your expectations stepping into the educator for SRAM role, what did you sort of envisage it to be when SRAM approached you? And then what did it turn out to be what you thought it would be?
So we've got a bit of a phrase that we use, which is it's something along the line of globally consistent, but locally relevant. So my main counterparts are Australia, Germany, France, Indianapolis, Colorado, Netherlands, and Brazil.
It's a lot of time zones.
A lot of time zones to try and deal with. Oh, and Taiwan. Can't forget Ben. Sorry, Ben. So lots of time zones, lots of language barriers, and lots of different markets. So what Germany will need compared to what France will need compared to what Brazil need is all different, but we've got to all have some sort of consistency. So when I was put into this role, there was no SRAM UK at the time. There were 6 other people working for SRAM who were based in the UK that had a job. There was no like office or anything like that. So we didn't really know how it was going to look. We worked very closely with our distributor in the UK to try and get a room set up and figure out what was needed. But actually we just talked to people. So messaging people, sending out surveys and going, what do you want? What do you need? Delivering training, going, was that good? Like, did you like it? Was it useful? Do you feel confident afterwards? Like, did we meet your needs? And just taking that feedback on to try and figure out exactly what people want, what people need. It turns out we were wrong. The UK market is, from a global standpoint, quite small but quite challenging, and quite noisy. So in the UK, we make a lot of noise about what we think we want. And then when we try and deliver it, it turns out it's not actually what you wanted because we don't really know. So the last 2 and a bit years have been a lot of learning for me about what the market needs. Obviously, my background in quite a large chain store, I thought I had a good understanding. But going beyond the fringes of what we offered there and the help and support that some dealers need is very different to what we thought. So we've adapted and changed what we're doing, and going into this year we're looking at changing again and changing the business model for the business model that is our training department in the UK, we're looking at adapting it to hopefully meet the needs slightly better.
Can you say more on that, or is it a bit hush-hush for now?
No, we can. This was literally a conversation with my boss yesterday to try and. So if my boss's boss is listening, I might get told off, but I'll deal with that.
It's only about 100 people that listen.
Yeah, it's all good. The model in the UK is because our road network is pretty terrible and our trains are really expensive.
Yes.
People, if you ask someone to go up to Darlington for training, it's a day's travel for a lot of people, like each way, plus the time there, plus that expense. And our competitors in the UK, I say competitors, like peers in the UK is probably better. People like Bosch and Fazua, they are going around and they are going to places that are more regional rather than national. And people then go to that regional spot rather than uproot and go a long way.
It's almost like a conference. So they'll host a host to get together at a set location. Is it tend to be shops they do it at, or is it more neutral locations?
So most people tend to use a hotel room because they're set up
like the hotel conference rooms you can book out.
Without sounding really horrible, like Holiday Inn don't need my money. Like they don't need a cash injection from SRAM.
No.
And it doesn't actually do anything to support the industry by using a generic hotel conference room. There are so many cafes and facilities around the country that have like meeting rooms and things like that within cycle spaces, as we've just seen at Cycle Heaven. So we are looking at working with people within the cycle industry who have spaces that could run an event for us.
It seems to be a more popular space to have now. It seems to be there's a good conjunction between coffee and cycling. There's a strong association. Just off the top of my head, obviously Cycle Heaven in York, but also Chiltern Velo in, I've forgotten what the town's called or the village is called, but it is in the Chilterns. And there's a few others that have got larger spaces available or are next to coffee shops or have that sort of event space.
Yeah.
We spoke about Map Deck earlier. They've got gym space as well.
Yeah.
And they're in Kendal. But again, that's not necessarily the easiest to get to. Probably a conversation for another day to actually brainstorm where stuff is. York's very well connected.
York is well connected. The one we are running, which is on the 13th of February, is at Bike Park Wales.
Ah, okay.
And like, I'm no fool. I knew, so obviously we've got a really good relationship with Bike Park Wales.
Yeah.
They are the park sponsor.
Yep.
They've got a training room for 16 people. No one's coming for training with me. Everyone's using this excuse to go ride their bike.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that because I'm going to ride my bike too. But I've got 16 people coming. I've got a wait list of like 4 people who also want to come. So we're going to do a day's training there. It's going to be super laid back. We're going to cover purely mountain bike product, setup and service. So hopefully they'll, like if they're not delivering suspension service already, they'll learn how to do a fork and can go and put that into practice. But yeah, using locations like that, like it was an easy win using Bike Park Wales.
Yeah.
We don't need to do anything.
I didn't, it's not something I knew about in terms of Bike Park Wales, but certainly I think if every shop knew about it, I suppose it comes at an odd time because there's a bunch of different trade shows happening at the same time as well.
It literally clashes with Ice Bike. So, sorry, Shimano.
There's Ice Bike and there's Core Bike following in 2 weeks, isn't there?
Yeah.
So there's two trade shows that they're sending people on trips for. So, but I fully see that if you run that in the middle of the summer, you'd have had a waiting list of 60, 70 mechanics.
Exactly. We've got a short time period for when we can actually offer training because hopefully end of March, April, shops are going to be busy again.
Yeah.
They're going to be earning money and they're not going to have time to send anyone. And that's fine because actually what we need is shops being busy and making money.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do it early year. Getting people up to Darlington was it has been a real challenge this year. So we're like, let's run something. If it clashes with something, don't worry about it, because if it clashes and it works, if it doesn't clash, it's definitely going to work. So yeah, we're in a good position. We are provisionally going to run another one 24th of April.
Okay, at Bike Park Wales again.
At Bike Park Wales again. We are not telling anyone what it's on.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mystery training.
It is mystery training.
Mystery training, but it's at Bike Park Wales.
I will tell you, it is all mountain bike specific.
So get your journey plan to Merthyr Tydfil now.
Yeah, get that Premier Inn booked in Merthyr Tydfil. That's really cool. Have you got any other locations planned, or is it just Bike Park Wales at the moment? What is absolutely amazing is so many people have reached out to me directly to go, I've got a space. Like, we'd love to host you and things like that. So I've collated quite a few of those. I need, obviously, Bike Park Wales was a test event, slightly biased one from my point of view, intentionally. But yeah, a few places that have been really keen. A place in Manchester called Yellow Club, who do Aurum and time, really road bike focused. But they've got a club and stuff like that. I had like a long time sort of industry friend, a guy called Rob Foster from G Technique, who do ceramic coating and like stuff like that. They've got a really cool space that I didn't know they had. Loads of bikes on show, some car stuff, because they do automotive industry. And he's like, just come and use our space. So at the minute, like, everyone's offered, and I'm in a really nice position where I'm slightly overwhelmed with all of these places that I need to mark them all on a map of the UK and go, right, actually, these locations work really, really well.
You get to go on a little road trip.
That is kind of the plan, yeah.
So is your plan to pack up your training space to an extent and then take that with you, or are you expecting, because Bike Park Wales are already set up to do extensive servicing on their hire bikes and bikes that come into them?
They are. The real issue that we have with using the Bike Park Wales space is that Bike Park Wales is always busy.
Yeah.
So we're actually using their dedicated training room, and it's all demonstrative training.
Okay.
What we really want is for people to have that hunger and passion for learning from doing these sort of like remote ones and go, you know what, actually, I do want to know how to do a 200-hour service on a Super Deluxe Ultimate. The only way you're going to do that is to come to Darlington because you need the space, you need the tools, you need a closed environment. You can't get halfway through dismantling a shim stack in a rear shock and then have to go and answer the phone and then come back because you'll get it wrong. So it's really important that we have that closed space where we can just focus on what we need to deliver. If I just ask people to come to Darlington and learn it, they're like, oh, it's a long way, it's going to cost a bit of money. But when we get in front of people and show them the value of the training and how it's delivered, I think it's going to encourage people to go, actually, I want to learn this, I want to do more. This is an underutilized service for us. We can make more money by learning to do this.
Well, it extends your warranty, doesn't it? And it's, in terms of servicing in-house, once you've got the skill set to do it, it's for like a longevity service rather than a diagnostic and repair service. You're looking at, one, extending your warranty by a year with any of the major... No?
Not from us.
Oh, okay.
So one thing that we don't demand is... Demand, that sounds very autocratic. We have 50-hour servicing, we have 200-hour servicing, and it should be done. Your warranty period is 2 years. If you don't get your part serviced, and we think that it is a service issue rather than a warranty issue in that 2 years, we won't demand that you show us receipts for having your 50-hour services done. We do it case by case and things like that. The problem is, if we take someone like my dad who's got a full suspension mountain bike, he uses it for his 90 days in Spain that he's allowed to have each year, or every 180 days, whatever it is. So he will rarely ever need a 200-hour service because he just doesn't ride it enough. So if 1 year and 11 months down the line his shock stops working, well, he's not actually ridden it for 200 hours.
Yeah.
We do also say he should get it done annually, but he's not going to. So we don't punish people for it, but we do educate them and go, look, this is the service procedure. And the tech centre in the UK, those guys they're all riders. They're not just people there because they need a job. They've been on the pointy end of warranty as a consumer as well. So they're really good at going, look, this isn't necessarily a warranty job. This is a lack of servicing job. We'll do you a deal. We'll do you a goodwill. We'll do you a half price to get you riding again.
Yeah. So it's rider focused rather than commercial focused. There's obviously commercial protected, but
yeah,
you know, you're all riders. You've all been in those shoes where it's like,
yeah, they have a certain amount of empathy towards the rider.
Yeah.
And to the shop. Like if the shop phones up and swears down the phone to them, like they get nothing. Like the warranty is hard and fast, but it's that kill them with kindness, and it works both ways. So if the riders, you know, if they've at least cleaned it and looked after it, but haven't had it serviced, you know what, we'll look after you. You've made a mistake. This is an education thing.
Yeah.
If you've just abused it for a year and 11 months and then go, well, that should be warranty, then ain't happening.
No. I think that's what's nice about having the insight of having worked for a distro, having worked for a shop, and having been a consumer, is that you see all the sides of it.
Yeah.
And you see, okay, this actually justifies a warranty reason. This isn't a warranty reason. This is user error. And you begin to navigate and spot the things. But more often than not, people aren't being malicious with breaking things to try and claim a warranty. It's, you know, perhaps user error or whatever it might be. And putting someone on an educational path means they're not going to do it again. They'll probably buy your products again because they're like, oh, customer service from them was really good.
Yeah.
If you ring up like, so I never got my fork serviced because I didn't ride my mountain bike enough. I probably rode it in awful conditions, but I didn't ride it enough. But one thing I have had serviced under warranty is my exposure lights.
Oh, yeah.
And I have continued to buy exposure products because their warranty service was really good. Their service, like their repair service, was really good. Just as an example, posted it, sent it off. 2 days later, it comes back, working screen, working flash function. Brilliant.
Yeah.
You're obviously training people not just that are new to the industry. You're training people that have been established in the industry for probably longer than you've been alive.
Yeah.
How do you approach training people that have so much knowledge already? And do you have to do any sort of untraining with them to sort of untangle some of their nuances? Sometimes.
It's a bit like if someone that's been driving for 10 years went and did their driving test, they're probably going to fail it.
Yeah.
Because you get those bad habits and those shortcuts that you shouldn't necessarily take. We're quite clear about what we deliver for the training. And there's no, like, it's not compulsory that you come and do it or anything like that. Like, it is up to you. If you are good at what you do and you want to come, the chances are you're doing it because you either want to potentially learn something new or you want reassurance that you are doing it right. So I had all the team from Brink Suspension come up, like lovely guys. And quite honestly, like some of them could have taught me stuff about the older suspension and the stuff that I don't tend to work on and ride. But what they wanted was to come and experience the training and have the backup of the brand. So if anyone goes to them and go, what makes you so good at servicing RockShox? Well, they've been and done it with the brand.
Yeah.
Like they've come to see someone who is employed by RockShox giving them like information straight from the horse's mouth. If they've got any unusual questions and want to know anything, like I can send the product manager a Teams message. Like, you know, there's normally a half day delay on it through timelines. but we can get answers straight away for them and just support them, because that's all education really is. It's supporting you with what you are doing and making it either easier, more efficient, or giving you backup for it.
With the backup element, if someone has done their own learning on something like forks, which isn't something that people typically start to work on, because there are a few specialist tools that you need to take them apart, or there's the disposal of some of the liquids and the necessity for specific parts like the seals and wipers that you need for with someone that is almost self-taught. And I think you do get it quite a lot in the and I think this was the case, and I saw it quite a lot around 2020, where there were a lot of accounts opening in the trade. A lot of people recognized that cycling was a key industry, and that you could become a key worker by working as a bike mechanic or working in a bike shop, which I didn't expect it. I got furloughed for a week from Evans, and then they said, come back.
Yeah, I had the same.
About when the government released their list, and spent the entirety of lockdown with bicycles. But for those that are self-taught, those that have picked up on things either by watching, Calvin Jones on Park Tool or GCN or GMBN, even poring over the SRAM technical guides. For them, what kind of support would you suggest? Would you think the comparison that I would draw is that you can teach yourself to play the piano, but that doesn't give you the ear of the piano teacher or the experienced pianist?
Yeah.
What sort of, if you had to give a message to the people that were self-taught, which is fantastic that people have taken the initiative.
Absolutely.
But there'll be gaps. What would be your message to those people?
Protect yourself. Unfortunately, we live in an era where any small mistake gets highlighted quite vocally. And financially, that could be problematic. The lack of sort of cohesion with training and qualifications within the cycle industry is a much bigger problem that is probably a podcast of its own to talk about. About 8 different stakeholders in this room. What if you are self-taught? How do you back yourself up when it comes to challenging conversations with customers? Now, if you've gone to the training, if you've gone and had support, you have that backup. Even if it's just me going, yeah, that is exactly how we're doing it. You're doing a great job. Carry on. For sure. And it's certificated as well. If anyone challenges it and goes, how do you know that you're doing that suspension service right? Well, I literally have the paperwork to say that I am.
Yeah.
And that's across everyone. Let's talk about Shimano and Campag. They've been delivering training in the UK a lot longer than SRAM have. And that's established. People know about it. SciTech as well. Like the goods and bads of SciTech training, it's still a recognised qualification, and it's still that backup that you've got to prove that you know what you're doing. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with being self-taught. I genuinely believe if you are going to go out and look into things in depth and improve yourself by yourself, that is a great personality trait to have. And if you do it in the right way, you can go really, really far in any industry. The difference between our industry and other industries is to be a mechanical engineer, you need a piece of paper to say, yes, you are a mechanical engineer. Like, I can't watch a load of Grey's Anatomy and then go to a hospital and go, yeah, I'm a doctor. But unfortunately, in the cycle industry, you can watch a load of YouTube videos, go, yeah, I'm a bike mechanic now. Yeah. So come to training, even if it's like remote based or anything like that, get the support of the brand, get a relationship with that brand as well. Any brand, not just us. Like, we are super friendly, but like others are as well. Because it's more support than you would imagine that you would get.
Yeah. I suppose having the paperwork to say without a doubt I've been taught this by the people that designed it. I'm doing it the right way. I'm doing it as per their instructions.
Yeah.
And having that backup is like, it's almost, if you get a customer question, okay, so a KMC, I'm going to use the example of what KMC are now producing flat top chains. So actually, let's bring it back to SRAM. I'm going to use a SRAM chain over a KMC chain with the SRAM system. Well, why are you doing that? The KMC chain's £5 cheaper. So I know the KMC chain's £5 cheaper, but I have a good working relationship with SRAM. Their technical side says the best performance you'll get is by using their chain. So I'm going to use their chain.
Yeah.
Now, KMC's marketing will say different, and that's fine. They're a chain manufacturing specialist. They make good chains.
Yeah.
No one is denying that. And it's super cool when you can get a custom colored chain.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a flex when you turn up to the Sunday crit and it's like, yes, look at my red and gold chain. But by, Shimano will do it, Campag will do it, SRAM will do it. All of them will specify that use our chains because we've designed them. Our tolerance stack up is within all of this. Our wear guides are within all of this. You will get the best performance when you use our product. Mm-hmm. And having the backup of the training. So, for example, I worked for Chicken. So that's just a blanket. Like if I do anything with Campag, it's almost like, okay, so why do you know this about Campag from X amount of years ago? Obviously, I'm a bit rusty. But it's like, okay, well, some of the guys that are the Campag trainers in the UK taught me my brand knowledge, my assembly knowledge, my this, that, and the other, and I have a Campag bike. Mm-hmm. So there's that backup there that I think is really decent, and it's quite accessible, really.
Yeah.
Shimano TEC is very accessible. Some of the other trainings, obviously, with TEC being online, you've mentioned perhaps you'll have to go to an in-person training in Darlington, or hopefully Bike Park Wales at some point.
Yeah.
You'll have to travel to some places and stay in some places. Sometimes there will be compromises, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to do the full week of SciTech, which will cover a lot of stuff that if you're self-taught at level 2, you probably already know. It will go into the depths of wheel building with, I think it's 3 cross patterns, something like that.
I believe so, yeah.
And then you get advanced wheel building, suspension, e-bike, all the rest of it. But you can go to the brands directly and not take 2 weeks, or the brands can come to you and not take 2 weeks and incrementally do that continual professional development.
Yeah. So for us, our 202 course, which is like the in-depth suspension, is 2 days. Mm-hmm. And in that time, you learn all the theory behind how dampers and air springs work. Mm-hmm. We physically do a 200-hour service on a fork with the newest damper, which is the most complicated one. We do a 200-hour rear shock service and a 600-hour reverb axis dropper post service. Mm. So the way we say, if you went and did one of each of those services back in your workshop, you cover the cost of that course.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. Do you want to say that one more time? Because that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose you've still got the overheads of it, but the suspension servicing commands a greater price because it is a more advanced, more niche skill.
Yeah.
For me, suspension servicing is something that I'm looking to start doing, just being able to add like tokens into a leg or doing an interim service. Nothing too onerous. Mm-hmm. But previously I'd have sent it to Plush or Brink.
Yeah. They do a great job. They're set up for it.
Yeah. Yeah, they do it day in, day out.
Yeah.
But by bringing it in-house and having that capability locally, if someone rings me and says, hey, can you service my fork? And I say, well, I can strip it out and take all the parts off and put it in a box and then I can charge you the shipping. But because I'm a business, I want to charge you insured shipping, which is £40.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to send it to Brink or to Plush.
Yeah.
They're going to service it. They're going to send me the invoice. I'm going to pay them the invoice. Then they're going to charge me the shipping to send it back to me. Yeah. And by the time you've done that, in some cases, you may as well have just bought a new fork.
Potentially, yeah.
You're not quite getting to that point, but it's by bringing it in-house and having these services more locally, I don't think it's particularly well advertised in York if anyone does do suspension servicing, or anywhere else really.
Yeah.
Even some of the shops that I worked for in the home counties and in the Chilterns, it wasn't really done.
Yeah. Previously, there was a lot of proprietary tooling needed to do that. And one of the things we've done as a business is move away from that. A proprietary, like, don't get me wrong, I love buying tools, like almost unhealthily. But if you're a business and you're like, okay, I've got a new product, I need to service it, but I need to spend 50 quid on tooling for that. Well, that's 50 quid of your working capital gone.
Yeah.
You then need to try and recoup that. How many of these products are you going to see? At what point do you then go, actually, I'm going to invest in all of the tooling and then offer this because it's a gamble. Do you get enough? So moving away from that, like I've just been building a new toolbox, shadow foaming everything, and I've been thinking about what products I'm going to work on when I'm away. What tools do I need to do it? And I think there's like one slightly proprietary tool that I need to take to do all the jobs that I'm going to deliver on the road, and that is a chamferless socket. That's it.
Okay, so to fit into the top of the... Yeah. Abbey make them, don't they? Yeah,
no, it's an Abbey one. They are available from other people at less of a premium.
You talked briefly about the cost of tooling when new things comes out. So, it can be quite a pressure on a shop to keep up with all the different tooling that's on offer. And as you said, it may not get used that often. I can buy a diagnostics kit for this, that, and the other motor. But how often am I realistically going to see that motor with the market saturation? Exactly. Bosch, maybe once every 3 months. Steps, maybe the same. And then the more niche you go, like Fazua or Mali. So, aside from e-bike systems, what pressures do you have relate to you facing mechanics today? Is that people are coming to you for advice on servicing and what's actually occurring within new things at SRAM. But what do you think it is putting the extra level of pressure on them to deliver, perform, whatever it might be?
In what sense? To perform in general, to try and be the best that they're...
To try and keep up with the demands of the customer and the demands of the employer, but then also balance keeping the workshop lean enough that they're not sinking so much into tooling or proprietary information and training.
I would say little and often. Like, no one wants to go and spend like 500 quid on a new set of tools to work on one product. Like, I looked at moving a lot of stuff around in my house, and I've got a Brompton toolkit. So I've got the reaming tools, I've got the hinge tools, I've got the lot. And I'm like, oh, that's like a few grand in that box of just tools. So if you do need a tool, it's always better to have that tool before you need it. But obviously, trying to predict the demand for that product, hopefully you'll see a lot of them because you're busy. But yeah, I like buying tools frequently in small numbers, if you know what I mean. Like, there are some new Pedros tools that have come out, like a bottom bracket adapter set.
Okay.
It looks cool. Like, it looks like, for now, like a one-stop shop for all of those different bottom bracket standards. But it's like 180 quid. I'm like, oh, I should buy that.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, but it's like, that's a payday payment. And then something else gets in the way. And I know I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to need like a shallow T47 bottom bracket tool at some point. I'm going to be like, I should have bought that months ago.
What's quite nice now is that Park have got, with those shallow cups or shallow ounce, Park have got this sort of spring, the spring twizzly dial, and I've used that a couple of times.
It's nice, isn't it?
So all of my interfacing tools are really expensive and really bougie, but all of my socket tools are really cheap. Not my torque wrenches.
No,
Don't cheap out on torque wrenches, but like Parkside. Parkside from Lidl. Just odds and sods. Okay. Super helpful.
Yeah. One thing we do with our tech manuals, which I think is really useful for this, is it's normally like between page 8 and 11. There is an entire page telling you exactly what tools you need to complete that entire job. And it's common bike tools, and then it is like RockShox tools.
Okay.
And most of those RockShox tools are common tools anyway.
Yeah.
So it'll be like RockShox Abbey tool cassette tool. Like, well, that's not a RockShox tool. It's just a cassette tool. We've just got 2 expensive logos on it. But it does mean that before you start any job, you can actually see whether you've got every single tool you need.
Yeah.
One thing we have started to do, and a great example, is the upgrade kit for a Charger 3 to a 3.1. You do need a proprietary tool to undo one of the parts, but it's a really small tool and it's a really niche tool. So we've actually put that in the upgrade kit, so you get the tool you need to do it, and we've basically put it in there at cost price, so it doesn't shoot the cost of the product up, because it's actually a barrier to selling that upgrade. I
think what a lot of people tend to forget in when they look at something and it's expensive, or there's a cost associated with it, is that for the most part, I don't think people in the bike industry itself is not trying to rip you off.
No.
Most of the designers are bike riders. When I was 18, I looked at, this is a long time ago, I looked at doing like a year abroad with Specialized. You had to apply to the program. It was like a year in industry before you went to university. And I thought it'd be so cool to go out to California and to spend a year learning engineering with Specialized. The requirements were not entirely educational, but one of the key requirements was you must ride bikes. You must have an interest in cycling. Otherwise, there's no point. Yeah. Everyone that works for, SRAM rides bikes. Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, maybe like you get the odd person that's like a chartered accountant that, they just love Excel. Yeah. And you'll get some people that are there because they fell into the job by accident. But for the large part, I think it's riders designing parts for other riders and for themselves. They want to ride stuff that's cool, so they're going to engineer stuff that's cool. Yeah. I've been a tool designer, and I liked to design stuff that was cool. Yeah. Because that's part of it. It's you're going into the industry. I really want to upgrade this. Oh, everyone needs to be riding this. Like, I've just engineered this. It's so cool. And, the engineers are just as passionate riders as anyone else. Yeah. Bike mechanics. I've heard so many bike mechanics go, oh, the bloody engineer when they've looked at this or something. But I think particularly like anyone that's working with a mechanical engineer that's component facing or design facing, they're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to tweak this and do this and like tune that, and we'll just change the coating mixture slightly on this, or the different anodizing. It's going to look so good or feel so good when you ride it. And that sort of, I'm speaking quite quickly there, but that excitement, that sort of switch in their brain that clicks into gear is what they're thinking when they design the product for you. Yeah. It's not, how can I make as much money as possible?
Let's be honest, no one in this industry is going to make that much money.
I have a secret. How do you make a lot of money in the bike industry?
I don't know.
You start with a lot more money.
Yeah. So for most of our engineers and people who work on the product and the product designers, they are all passion-led people because they know they're not going to get rich. What was really cool is I spent some time out in Colorado in June last year, and basically we did a week's work, and then I stayed out for like 6 days and went and did some bike packing. Didn't see a rider for hours, middle of nowhere, and then on this like dirt road, someone's riding the other way, and we sort of like we can sort of see each other, and I'm like, you look familiar. And he's like got the same sort of look on his face. And we both stopped and we're like, oh, you you work in the Colorado office, don't you? And he's like, oh yeah, you're the guy from the UK, aren't you? I was just like, just totally meeting like a random like SRAMmy, like in the middle of Colorado in the Rocky Mountains somewhere.
Amazing.
And it's just like, oh yeah, you're in the office. Yeah, cool. Yeah, have fun. See you later. And it's like that's it. Wild. They are out there in the wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good that the people who ride the product, design the product, and they also work on the product. So at SRAM facilities, we do what's known as SRAM Stew, SRAM Technical University.
Okay.
And basically people in the office. So if you are if you're a brake designer, but you're riding a ZEB, you can go and my colleague will basically like strip a ZEB with you and you can see how the air spring works and stuff like that. So you almost get cross training. And it's just to give you a full understanding of like all the other products and things like that. So it was really nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah. One thing that is really cool, and really, when I found this out, I knew SRAM was the right company to work for. So obviously you're a dog owner, because sometimes you are required to work in a different office for a while. We have increased insurance in our American offices to cover your dog. So you can take your dog to work with you. If anything happens to your dog during working hours, SRAM's insurance covers it.
Any company that I've ever heard of, never heard of that.
It's mad, isn't it?
That's brilliant.
Yeah. First time I went to Colorado, I was totally distracted for the first day because I was just meeting all of the dogs. Like my boss was trying to introduce me. She's like, this is the product manager for brakes. I'm like, and this guy... Who's this?
Freddie the Golden Retriever.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what I'm more interested in.
That is... There's some cool stuff, and I think there's a lot of, there's a more relaxed attitude in some places in the bike industry. Wasn't like it during COVID.
No.
No, that was just a really weird mental time. But I think people are pretty chilled.
Yeah.
There was, I saw an advert for... it was like a logistics manager at Pon. They're over in Harrogate, something like that. And one of their benefits is that you can go and ride your bike at lunch.
Yeah.
You just go, like, they're not fast. Go ride your bike at lunch. And it's just chilled, and you get one bike a year.
Yeah.
And it's cool. I don't think it's quite as cool as being able to take your dog to the office and having your company insure the dog.
Yeah.
Does it cover more than one dog?
I would have thought so.
Probably, yeah.
Like, you've got to have a good dog. Like, you're not allowed a disruptive dog. That is the only rule.
I've got 2 disruptive dogs.
Yeah.
Who don't get on with other dogs.
Yeah, you maybe not take them into the office too often. Though.
Yeah, well, I don't work there at the moment, so that's okay. The pace of the industry changes.
Yes.
Obviously the pace changes, and the pace is always rapid, but sometimes it's more rapid. And every year it's a new bottom bracket standard, a new through axle standard, a new free hub design. Someone's found another problem which needs fixing, have fixed it, but have introduced a new one. So with how quickly things move, do you find that there's ever a point of mastery, or do you think mastery is something that's realistically unachievable, but seeking it is something that's worth pursuing?
I think the glass ceiling always moves. So as good as you are, you can be the absolute best until we release something new. If you truly want to be the best, you must always be looking for what's new, what's different, what do I need, how do I learn about this? I think that's the really big thing. One of our competitors has been dragging out releasing their new stuff for a while now. I think anyone going to Ice Bike this coming week will probably see it before I will. But I want to see that product and I want to learn about it.
Yeah.
Purely because I have that hunger to learn. Like, I think me and the competitor I'm doing my best not to name, we are at a similar level. Like, it's undeniable. We're getting to the point where there aren't any real outstanding differences between one product and the other. There are a few key like unique selling points between one and the other, but if you want a premium product, you get it from any of us. Like, we all make great stuff. You know, obviously they are my competitors and I hate them and they are scum, but I don't mean that at all. But a premium product is a premium product, whoever it's from. But learning to work on it and how you work on it and how you get access to the information to work on it to make sure that that premium product from whoever it is works as it should do. Yeah, that is part of that premium package. Yeah. When a product gets launched, people need to know exactly what's different about it. Yeah. Not just features and benefits, not how many watts it's going to save you on a 40k time trial at 3% yaw and a 2% gradient.
No, because the master company, the company that's manufacturing it, should be responsible for that marketing. Exactly. You're responsible for the or the training, and the mechanic is responsible for its entry to market.
Yes, exactly.
And that sort of, you know, gateway in. They're opening the gate. But the momentum should already be created by the marketing it shouldn't be on the mechanic. No. So if they go in, it's like, okay, you can check out the marketing in the video. Generally, a customer now is pretty informed if they're buying something at £6,000-7,000.
Yeah, they know what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. To create that premium product, you need to support the people who are working on it to make sure it works as it should do. So for us, obviously we do a lot of seeding with products. So part of my role is the people who have those seeded products before lift of embargo, they get supported. So we have got media drafts and stuff like that. So I will talk to the people prior to them having to fit it to something, like all the influencers and YouTube channels out there where they get stuff before launch for the market. Yeah. They get supported because we don't want to just give them a product and go, yeah, we can't give you any of the support because you might leak it. So just fit it and hope for the best, because it doesn't work.
I think generally they're pretty respectful. And for them, like I suppose the incentive is like, hey, we're going to show you this unreleased Yeah. And then it's kind of obvious who it came from.
It is, yeah.
And then they just get, well, banned. It's quite simple.
It is quite simple, yeah. But they need to have an honest view of it. And part of that is making sure that it is set up correctly.
For sure.
Because if it isn't, you don't get a true understanding of how it's working, or like how it shifts or how it breaks. And if we have made minor changes, it's really important that we communicate that before it lands on bikes, because we don't want customers going back and going, I thought the shifting would be better, and you realise it's now, you know, the chain measurement is done in a different way, and it's actually got 2 extra links in it or something like that, and that's affecting shifting. You know, that way is changed. You now use this tool. They need to know that to make sure it's landing right.
I think what you've touched on is a reason why a lot of people don't stay in the sport, or stay in it as a hobby or as a mode of transport. Yeah. Because SRAM and their competitors do not just sporty and mountain bikey things. They also make products for commuter bikes. There's someone moving away from that, and there's a market being backfilled by newcomers from the Far East. But I think some of this setup stuff is, and I see it really commonly in kids' bikes. It's always in kids' bikes. They're just not set up right. And then people wonder, like, oh, he doesn't really enjoy cycling. Yeah. But the kid can't communicate. He doesn't know the word derailleur. She doesn't know the word derailleur, whatever. Yeah. They can't say brakes. They can't effectively determine. And some adults, it's the same. They can't effectively communicate. I don't really enjoy cycling. I can't seem to get the right gear. Yeah. And maybe that's a skill thing, you know, shifting up and shifting down when you've got different. But I think commonly they'll buy simple bikes that aren't set up correctly by people that haven't had the training. And then when they don't work, they don't question the competency of the shop because they're a national chain. Yeah. You know, the person that sold it to me had a brand logo on their polo shirt. But they won't go back. It will just sit in the shed.
Yes, that's it. I think the retail environment that you're talking about is like the big box shops, like the out of town ones that probably offer a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Like it's very easy to put things out like golf clubs and fishing gear and stuff like that, and you need some product knowledge on it to sell it. But actually, when it comes to something that's almost kit form in a box, and you need to get it out of that kit form into a bike shaped object, there are lots of really easy mistakes to miss. So the one for me is always forks being backwards.
Yeah.
And what an impact that has on the ride quality.
Yeah.
Like it's unreal. But that rider doesn't know what they don't know.
No.
They may not enjoy how that bike rides, but they can't tell you why. The chances are that the handling on it's not right.
The handling will be awful if the fork's backwards, yeah.
And then they're not confident in their ability to ride.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, maybe cycling's just not for me. Cycling's for everyone. I'm going to take that really glossy, like halo point of view. Like cycling should
there
be
is
for
a
everyone.
point in cycling that anyone can access.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we went to Cycle Heaven for breakfast, and we also went past Get Cycling CIC.
Yeah.
Now they're a community investment company, and they specialize in things like trikes, hand cycles, and accessible cycles. Now those things are specialist and they are more expensive, but from balance bikes to trikes, from racing bikes to mountain bikes to full size bikes to e-bikes to cargo bikes, there's genuinely a place if it's set up well. Any individual, barring extreme circumstances, can ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
Or can have some form of cycling. And the Paralympics are a great show of that. Even like the visually impaired team pursuit.
Yeah.
Where they go up on a tandem around the velodrome.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
It's so fantastic.
Good. Yeah.
But the cycling is, and just having the rush of the window. Why do dogs like sticking their heads out of car windows? Because it feels good.
Yeah.
There's genuinely place in cycling for everyone.
Yeah. I think the barriers to it is there's always a financial barrier.
Yeah.
If you can get a good, well set up second-hand bike at a good price, that's your entry point. If you are going for a new bike and you can go to a shop and you're in the position where you have the finances to do that, I think the barrier at that point is how well set up that bike is.
Yeah.
Has the person that's put it together taken the time to read the simple instruction manual? Have they cared about the job they've done as well? Because a lot of people just see it as a job rather than a potential career. And I think when you get it's just a bike person putting it together, you're taking a potential lifelong cyclist out of that pool. Yeah. And that's sad, especially when it's a kid. Kids should love riding bikes.
It should be fun. When they get a bike in the shop, my personal view when I worked at the bigger ones is that you talk to them like they're an adult. You don't talk down to them, even if they're 3.
Yeah.
You talk to them like they're a grown up picking up their bike. You don't over explain things to them that they won't understand, but you treat them like an adult. The tyres should be inflated to the correct pressure.
Yeah.
You want to set the height of the seat up for them and offer it to the parents. You give the parents a safety briefing and encourage them to obviously buy a helmet. Everything's torqued, everything's up to pressure. The brakes are at the right bike point.
Yeah.
You're not fitting adult brake levers to a kid's bike. Stuff like that. And the reality is upstream, that does happen. And there are some really good kids' bikes out there.
Amazing kids' bikes. Yeah.
I remember an Isla bike coming in and getting fitted was full SRAM red, which was, I think she must have been racing crits from the age of 6 or something like that. A good place to be in. It's part of what I want to achieve with this podcast is sit down with people like yourself and discuss things that do go wrong. Yep. And I don't think this isn't a place we're not shitting on people for putting forks on backwards.
Oh, no, absolutely not. No.
Because you don't know what you don't know. One of the common things that I see is limit screws.
Yeah.
But usually the lower limit is fine. It's the upper limit. So I stick my fingers, obviously, on the inner chainstay, just push the mech up until it goes. And with newer bikes, I would say 4 out of 5 times, it'll fall behind the cassette, even with the Dork disc.
Yeah.
It'll want to project over, because that shouldn't need to be on.
No, it shouldn't. Not really.
No, it's there so that you can set the bike up and then you can remove it. Anyway, I think there are many rabbit holes that we can explore, which I think we're fast discovering. The sort of final point in this section that I wanted to cover was I think we've kind of covered it a little bit already, to be honest, but appearing competent and becoming excellent. I think you've got the appearance of competence by being in uniform.
Yeah.
Lavello in Berkhamsted was nice in that we didn't really have a uniform. We had branded gear, like T-shirts, and there were puffer jackets and gilets and that sort of thing, but it wasn't OTT. But if you walk into a branded store, like a chain store, the person who's wearing branded stuff, it almost displays competence. And they can say anything to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it will appear as the truth because they're determined to be the competent person because they're employed in that role. So what's the transition point? What's the difference between appearing competent and beginning to achieve excellence? What are you doing?
I think that's an interesting Venn diagram. Appearing competent to someone that doesn't know is very different between appearing competent to someone who does know.
Yeah.
I would personally much rather tell someone that I don't know the answer to that, but I'll find out.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the true element of it. I think most customers can read body language and things like that, and if you're not 100% confident about something, but you're acting like you are, they'll pick up on that, and that actually destroys their confidence in you. To truly be competent, you need to be slightly humble with it, in my opinion, and go and find the answers. Don't overcommit to things. Like you say, looking the part is one thing. Like, the two main careers I have, I fitted both stereotypes. I'm heavily tattooed with a beard, so yes, I am either a bike mechanic or a chef. So I've always felt like...
My grandmother's a chef and she doesn't have a beard or tattoos.
Well, she's clearly not very good. She's not charging $20 for a smash burger without any sides. So, sorry, I'm sure your grandma's a great girl.
And she's listening.
So, yeah, like... I do think it's important to appear competent. Competent without overconfidence is probably that balance. If you aren't confident in what you can do, the customer, the rider, isn't going to have faith in you. Yeah. And everything's about confidence in the product. So,
I think confidence in the fix as well.
Yeah.
You can... I think it's acceptable for things to go wrong. If things keep going wrong, that's a problem. That's a big problem.
Yeah.
Particularly if it's the same problem that you're not fixing. But if you make a mistake once and then go to the customer and say, I'm very sorry, customer, but this is how we'll rectify it for you.
Yeah.
And, you're not bowing down to them and saying we're not worthy. You're saying to them, we accept that we made a mistake. We value you. We value that you chose us for your custom.
Yeah.
Here's how we're going to make it right. Here's how you're going to come back.
Yeah.
And I think there's, as much as the competence in the build and the setup and the service is the competence in the fix as well. How you handle complaints is just as important as how you handle sales.
Absolutely, yeah. probably to a higher degree. I think you're more likely to retain a customer if there's been a problem and you fix it in the correct way.
Yeah.
Because if you handle those situations more and better than other people will, they'll keep coming back to you because they'll know that you're human, you're reasonable, and
that you care.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the bottom line. People want. I mean, personally, I want professional service where one cares.
Yeah.
Even if it's like, if I get asked at McDonald's, "How's your day?" I'm like, "Oh, you don't care about my day." If I get asked at my local coffee shop, "How's your day?" I kind of know that they care.
Yeah.
Because I'm going there and I'm spending money. If I get asked at my local bike shop, "How was your ride? How was Battle on the Beach? Yeah. How was LEL? How was Paris-Brest-Paris?" Why am I picking Audexes?
Some secret aspirations there.
It's my mate Steve. He's getting to me. I think having that connection, almost like independent bike shops don't necessarily become your friends, but there's a more familial relationship with your bike shop than you have with Primark.
Yeah. Well, and also the internet.
Yeah.
So, like,
Calvin Jones is great, but you can't go and meet him.
No, exactly. I'm in a really nice position because with my previous role, like hence being sat here with you, I met an awful lot of people from many different corners of the country. So I've met and trained a lot of mechanics within the UK. So I've got that network and I can go and meet these people. But the other thing is I can support them as well. The key example for me is a guy called Sean who's got a bike shop in Bedale, only does custom builds, bike shop and cafe. It's lovely. He came, did the training. He'd come out of the army, had a coaching business, wanted to start building bikes. He came and learned everything. He's one of the few people who's allowed to WhatsApp me a question because he cares. And if he's doing a job and he comes across something that he's not 100% sure about or wants reassuring, he will reach out to me and get that answer because he's not going to just go, "Oh, I think it's like this, so I'll do that." And he's building a lot of nice bikes.
It's interesting that he has I think it demonstrates a lot of competence to ask the questions.
Yeah.
In that someone that wouldn't be, we talked about appearing competent and being excellent. I think that demonstrates excellence in that, I'm not sure. I'm not going to make an assumption. I want to just check that that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's not going to the teacher for the answers. It's ensuring that you practice, what's been defined, what's been set out by the engineers.
Yeah.
And ultimately you're doing it because you want to deliver the best service possible. You want to be good at your job and you want your customers to have this guy sounds like he wants his customers to have an amazing bike, which is brilliant. Slightly on the topic of careers.
Yeah.
Bit of a shift from custom builds and bikes and things that can go wrong. Career pathways. So you've had a few. Generically, we can say that your career pathway has been from catering to the bike industry.
Yeah.
But within the bike industry, you've not just been involved in education.
No.
You've also been involved in some quite high-level racing environments, even up to World Tour.
Yeah. Little dabble in World Tour, yeah.
Little dabble. It was a bit more than a little dabble, but...
It wasn't as much World Tour as I'd have liked. So.
I think for a lot of young mechanics, it's, you'll sit in the summer. For me, the sound of summer is the ITV Tour de France music.
Yeah.
It is the ringtone on my wife's phone. You'll watch the Tour de France and you'll see the bikes being washed down. You'll see the mechanics leaping from the car with another bike, leaping with a fix, getting chains back on, doing this, that, and the other.
Yeah. All
sorts of fixes at the side of the road. And I think the television cameras can somewhat glamorize
Yeah.
Your experience or the perception of what it's like to be a world tour mechanic, almost putting it on the same sort of rankings as what it would like to be a world tour rider.
Yeah, very, very different.
Yeah. Can you just pull back the curtain for us on what a day in the life of a world tour mechanic, or even a race mechanic? Because it's been, you're going to have to give me the list because I've forgotten, other than Wiggins and...
So I started with Wiggins.
Yeah.
Did a little bit for Vitus, not a huge amount, and then spent most of my time with Trinity. So Trinity Racing through all of their guises, and then did a little bit for DSM as well, back when they were DSM. So most of the time working for Trinity with a couple of mechanics that they had, a guy called Will and a guy called Aaron. Both top guys. Charlie as well, can't forget Charlie, but he was mountain bike. Yeah, really, really good. So it everyone goes, oh, you know, you're the first ones up and the last ones to bed, and yeah, you are. But your day's very much bookended. So nearly everything happens the night before. So you get to the hotel. Hopefully someone else has got the truck there, got water connected, got power connected. We have nearly been in fist fights in car parks fighting over a tap. Like it can be that intense at times, because you need to get all of the bikes washed. So all the race bikes, all the spare bikes, they all need washing. They need servicing, they need lubing, they need checking. Race bikes, you've got to talk to the riders, make sure everything was working right. We would charge the batteries every night and swap them out. We would then wash the cars. We would then wash the truck, make sure everything was ready to go for the next day. We'd then have dinner about 8 o'clock. And then, depending on what the next day was and things like that, we'd then essentially go back to the truck and do some extra jobs. So if we needed more climbing wheels, we'd make sure they were all set up, ready to go. Back when we started, we were still using tubs. So anything that was punctured during the day, we'd then have to go and re-glue a tub to get that sorted. You'd then have a beer. Without fail, you would have at least one beer.
Just one?
Yeah.
Or at least one.
Verging on medicinal at that point. Next morning, depending on where you are and where you're located, so sometimes you'd be in a hotel for a couple of days. Most of the time you would be moving on to another hotel, so you'd need to pack all your stuff up. You would then go and get all the bikes out. Race bikes would go on the soigneur's car. The race bikes, the spare bikes would go on the team car. If you had 2 team cars, you'd need extra bikes as well. You'd make sure all the spare bikes were prepped before they went on. You'd then get to the start of the race with the truck. You'd take all the team bikes off, all the race bikes off. You'd then check all of them, make sure everything's good, make sure every single tyre is pumped up correctly, every battery's ready to go, none of the brakes are rubbing and stuff like that. Then you'd have a little bit of downtime. And then basically the riders would go and do their sign-on, and they'd come back from sign-on, having ridden their bike maybe 200 metres. They'd come back and go, oh, can you change something? And then they'd see another rider who's on a bigger chainring than they are, and they'd want something swapped out. You'd then have to do a little bit then. Then the race would start, and you sit. If you're in the race car, you would sit in that car for maybe 4 or 5 hours and do nothing. Literally nothing. Because a good day for a bike race is where the mechanic doesn't need to do anything. Because if you've sat in the car all day, it means nothing's gone wrong with the bikes.
Yeah.
If your rider's getting the brake, you then have the team car go up, and that's exciting. But yeah, most of the time you're sat there driving a car or being driven in a car somewhere really hot, really pretty. It's really nice to look out the window, and you basically just sat in there all day. You'll go and do feeds and things like that. So you'll drive up, and it's your job to get all the bottles out of the back of the car.
So you've got mixed responsibilities, mechanic and soigneur.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do also need to like pay attention to the race. If riders are in the breaks, you need to know which riders are there. So you need a notepad and stuff to write down which riders are there, just in case there's, like, if you're in a GC battle or a KOM battle, something like that, you need to know who's where and how that affects your riders. You need to be relatively good at maths, because the DS will ask you how many seconds ahead or behind a rider is compared to your rider. You need to try and figure that out. If something does go wrong, you need to move incredibly quickly, but stay incredibly calm, which is challenging. I think because I spent so long in kitchens where it was organised chaos all the time, I'm sort of used to it. Being really efficient at putting a wheel in and out, knowing what wheel you need, knowing which bike you might need off the roof, because you've got 7 or 8 bikes that all look pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Very different in setup.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing, and working well under that pressure.
Did you have any sort of hacks for IDing each of the bikes, or did you just sort of know which one's in order?
On the back of the seat in front of you, it looks like, you know, in like old crime films where you have all the bits of information, a red string going from one to one. It's a bit like that. You'll have some of the communique, which is all the information that they give you at the start of the race. You have that in there, and then you'll have a map with the roof of the car where each bike is. The best thing to happen is that you're in the spare car and you've got a rider in the brake, because you just have their bike on your roof, so you can't make a mistake. But yeah, you'd have it mapped out. The radio, like most of the races I did were in France and Italy, so they do speak in English, but it's through a crackly radio with an Italian or a Frenchman speaking English, so it's really difficult. And you'll just hear like Trinity to the peloton, and you've just got to go up. And sometimes they go puncher. If you're lucky, they'll say front or rear, but that could be it. And you don't know if they've hit a pothole, whether it's just gone flat. Do you need a new wheel? Do you need a new bike? So you've basically got to run down, find your rider. We were working a lot with development teams where they didn't have rider radios as well, so they couldn't go, I've got rear puncture, or my derailleur battery's gone flat, or something like that. So you'd literally be blind, getting out of the car, getting to the rider, going, what's wrong? And then trying to fix it on the spot.
Would you have like, when you got out of the car and you wouldn't know what was going on, would you have like an emergency kit with you? Would you, like I'm imagining like a paramedic jumping out of an ambulance and striding to the scene?
No, we were basically just make sure you got 6mm in your hand, just to undo the axle. Take both wheels if you need. Quite honestly, like if you need a rear wheel and you've got a front wheel in your other hand, just throw it in the road. Don't worry about it. Just do whatever you need. You'll get it back. We would have toolkits in the car and we would have spares, but quite honestly, you don't have time to fix anything. So if something's broken, they get a new bike. If it's a puncture, they get a new wheel. But that's about it. It only gets challenging when it's a real bad race and lots of bikes have been broken and lots of wheels have been punctured and you're getting low on stuff.
It does still sound really exciting.
It is really exciting when that happens.
Yeah.
But what you have to remember is you've had maybe 3 hours of doing nothing up to that point.
Oh, so your legs are going to be jelly getting out of the car.
Oh, yeah. And you're full of adrenaline. You've been sat down for ages. You may have accidentally fallen asleep in the car as well, which is never a good idea. And suddenly you just have to, like, spring into action. And like, there could well be a TV camera pointed at you as well whilst you're trying to do it.
Bora have got that covered, though. They're sponsored by Red Bull.
Yeah.
All the time. Do you think it's sustainable? Because when we've talked before, you've said that obviously it's the larger races and the classics, the Grand Tours, general tours or multi-stage races. They're very seasonal now.
They are, but actually the life of a cyclist isn't anymore. Like they're not really having an off season.
No.
Like if they get 2 weeks at home, like.
So do you expected to look after them or rather their bikes, in the off season as well. So, for example, you're up north, you get a phone call from a rider living in London. Toby.
So no, at that point they would just take it to their local bike shop.
Gotcha.
But for like really big teams, the setup's kind of weird because your contract will say you are employed for 180 days. Mm-hmm. You may do those 180 days almost back to back in the summer, and then have like 2 months off in the winter. But they'll break that 180 days up into monthly salaries.
Okay.
So it kind of works that way. It is slightly seasonal, but not as seasonal as people think it is. Because January, last month, Q365 were in Chile at a training camp. People are in Calpe riding now. People. Jonas is getting taken off his bike by getting drafted down climbs. They're out and they're riding, and there is work for people in teams all year round.
Yeah, I did wonder whether, because I think the early days it was they'd have an off season. You'd hear stories about like Rowan Dennis going mad because drinking quite a lot in the winter in the off season. Or even like Geraint Thomas, Luke Rowe, maybe like having a night out in Cardiff. But I was listening to their podcast, one of the two that they do, I think, and they were saying that they hadn't had a night out in ages, and Jay's retirement was the first night out they'd had. So it's interesting that it's sort of it changed, but also that it is. I expected it to be a little bit like the industry in Britain, where December, January, February, it's really quiet. And then March, there's one sunny day. And all of a sudden, you're booking up until May.
Yeah, unfortunately not, no. The other thing is as well, because contracts change and sponsors change and, bikes need to look fresh and exciting every year. A lot of these mechanics that are working for teams are no longer in a sunny location in a team car, drinking Coke, staring out the window, waiting to fix a puncture. They're in a Belgian warehouse service course, just building 300 of the same bikes because that's how many they need for the riders.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. Like, Jumbo-Visma's service course is huge. I'd say it's bigger than some of the distributors' warehouses in the UK. It's massive.
That's huge.
Yeah. Well, they have so many riders, they've got 2 different teams because they've obviously, three technically because they've got a development team.
Yeah.
So you've got
men's,
all
women's
of those riders.
Would it be 4? Men's, women's development, women's development? Or is
I can't answer that.
Someone let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if they merged the development teams together. So yeah, just lots and lots of bikes to be built in a rainy Belgium, not seeing daylight.
Do you think there are certain types of people that sit better within certain places in the industry, in that certain personality types will thrive better in falling asleep in the back of the team car and then immediately jumping to action and running and changing a puncture with that 6mm Allen key, ripping out the through axle, throwing it back in, making sure you don't throw the through axle into a hedge.
Yep.
But then some people will, suit a pathway of shop life. Do you think there's any sort of traits that are associated with either of those?
The traits associated with being a team mechanic is that you kind of have to live that life. It's kind of the opposite of a hobby business. Like you're in it full gas. Like, if you've got to do a grand tour, you're probably there for 2 weeks of that grand tour. And then someone else will come in and do that final week. So you're not going to see your friends, you're not going to see your family, you're not going to ride your own bike. Let's not forget that. Like, you are there to facilitate other people's riding and not your own.
Imagine even on rest days, you're fixing bikes, washing cars.
Yeah, you're getting ready. So yeah, you might squeeze the odd ride in, but that'll be it. Like you're not going off and doing 100k around the Italian Alps or anything.
No.
So you need to have that sort of personality where you are dedicated to what you do for 12, 15 hours a day for 2 weeks. A lot of protein mechanics struggle to go into a bike shop because it's the same building, it's lots of different things. You have to adapt to what comes in. Like some of the early mechanics I worked with when we were still dealing with rim brake bikes, disc brakes came in and they're like, I've got no idea how to work on these because I've only ever worked on road bikes. Never touched a mountain bike. So they're a bit like, oh, I'm really like typecast here.
Yeah.
I can't do this. Like, I don't understand it. So when they go to a bike shop and you've got a commuter bike coming in and a mountain bike and a hardtail and a Brompton, they're like, I didn't even know bikes came in these shapes. They're like, it's a real struggle. So I think really methodical people work well as a protein mechanic. I think more adaptable people work better in a bike shop who like ever-changing daily routines and stuff like that. A few of the people that I know who work as professional team mechanics actually have a military background.
Oh, okay.
Because it's that regiment of discipline, and it's like you get up, then you make your bed, you put your boots on, you go and do X, Y, Z at this time, and it works really, really well. And they adapt to that because you get up at this time, you put the bikes on the car, you then go and have breakfast, you then get in the truck, you drive to the race, you do this, and you've got no option. You have to do it.
Yeah.
So it just works really well for that kind of person.
That's interesting. Speaking of craft and, shops, people, that sort of thing, I want to talk more about environment and culture rather than personality traits. So in practice, with maintaining increasing standards, because I think a lot of people in the industry now are interested in elevating the standard. Bikes are becoming more complex. We're expecting things like gearboxes to become more prevalent even on analog bikes.
Yeah.
You've got electric motors, which people are pushing to have serviceable. So being able to pull apart your Bosch motor in an environment. So what role do you feel tools, the environment you work in, and the culture that operates around you what sort of role does that play in how the shop functions and how the industry functions?
I'm going to talk about catering rather than the bike industry.
Go ahead, yeah.
Because there's a French term that was always used in catering called mise en place, which literally just means everything in place. The idea was that you could take a chef that worked on their station, blindfold them, and they'd be able to tell you where every single ingredient is and pick it up without having to look at it, because that's what makes you efficient. And I think we need more of that in the cycle industry. And toolbox wars are paving the way for this, I think. Because I think small things like having drawers shadow foamed, properly divided small parts, things like that, a clean environment, especially when it comes to suspension, it's like a non-negotiable. I think that's really, really important. Buying the best quality tools that you can afford as well makes such a big difference. A better quality tool eliminates more problems, I think. Like they pay for themselves. Like a good Allen key isn't going to round out a bolt, and it's also going to help you get out a semi-rounded bolt from the home mechanic that's just used a multi-tool. So I think that's really, really important. I think people looking after their tools and being proud of what they've spent money on, like clean, well looked after tools are really, really important. And you get bonus points for having them put somewhere shadow foamed.
The dream in the garage. SGS tooling. SGS toolboxes. Because I had one while I was at university. It wasn't mine. I got it for the charity that I was running in the SU. Shiny silver toolboxes, but not on wheels. I don't like the wheeled ones as much because everything we work on in the bike industry is kind of small.
Yep.
So the moment you drop something, where's it gone?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone under the workbenches.
Yeah.
And I've seen it like in a few different places I've worked where you've had workbenches where the bottom is open, and maybe you've got like a Mavic spare parts case under there or something like that.
Yeah.
But that one tiny little spring that you needed that you don't have a spare of for like the barrel adjuster on the rear mech, you just go, oh no, it's going to be 2 days to order that.
Yeah.
And funny enough, so SGS toolboxes all the way down to the floor. Toolboard, but not too messy. And then shadow foam for all of the regular tools.
Yeah.
And all the toolboxes. But everything would be mise en place. So in Japanese, I think it's kaizen.
Yeah, kaizen things. Yeah.
Like 6S or 5S, depending on which company you work for. Everything has its place, and it's like shine, set in order. I should know this. but that sort of thing I think can drastically help. One small change I made this last week was I've got the Park Tool shadow boards in the garage, and the hooks for them are actually quite expensive. The boards themselves are expensive, the hooks are expensive, but they look nice. And the little locks are nice. But I bought some extra hooks for them, managed to spread some more stuff out, and now more stuff has its own place where it will go back to each time. And even working on bikes this last week, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
It's so much simpler. So I totally agree with you about the mise en place.
Yeah. But it also means that you work more efficiently. You're not going, where do I just put my 4 mil?
Yeah.
Because you know where your 4 mil is.
It's usually in my pocket.
Yeah. But it also makes you like that extra efficiency in time means that you're more profitable as
yes,
well.
For sure.
Let's be honest, it's one of the most challenging times in the industry that we've seen for a long time. And small things about knowing where your tools are, working as quickly as possible, and turning things around quicker is quite important, I think.
Yeah, I think the small efficiencies that you can gain in the labour time. Stock, I think, is a risk for anyone.
Yeah.
And you can order stuff and not see it shift. I mean, think about how many different tyre widths you have and how many people have different preferences or different clearances in their bikes. Someone might have a Planet X from 10 years ago. It's like, I want to put mud guards. Cool. You can run a 23.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you have a 23? No. So I've taken the attitude of setting things in order to try and create efficiencies in the workshop, incrementally doing so. And incrementally being quite careful with what I spend on, particularly if I don't think that I'm going to need it regularly. And I think there's an element of building trust for certain jobs as well. For example, custom builds. You've got something like Ryan's Bikes or something like that. He just seems to do Rhino's Bikes or something.
Rhino,
yeah. He seems to do really high-end builds all the time.
Yeah.
And I imagine he's got a really bespoke set of tooling for that. But I can't imagine he needs a thread extractor that often. A threaded crank extractor that often.
No.
So yeah, it's buying the tools that you need at the time you need them. And then I suppose keeping them in good working order as well.
Yeah.
I see shops where tools are filthy.
Yeah.
And it's people wonder why they wear out. Have you noticed any, you are someone that's now sitting at the top competency level. You specialised heavily into SRAM.
Yeah.
But you sit at the top competency level in the country of the servicing for that, the diagnostics for that, and the understanding of not just how it operates, but why it operates and why it's been designed that way. Looking at the people that you train or looking to the people that you train, what patterns do you observe in them that to you demonstrate consistent greatness?
Pretty much every single person that's come to me has been inquisitive. No one sat in my training room and not asked a single question.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important, that people are proactively going, I've seen this, why is this? Or if this happens, how do we fix it? Why was a change from this to this done? It's that passion for figuring things out and seeing the small things. So, you know, if a grease changed from, you know, dynamic seal grease to SRAM butter, just to keep it on brand for us, they want to know why that change was and what effect it had. And I think that's the really important thing that I see from these people that are coming. And that's pretty consistent. I've had a real mix of people show up, from like tour guides to like suspension experts, to people who are trying to retrain. So someone's worked in IT since IT was a thing, basically, and he's like, in 3 years I retire from this and it pays my pension, but I'm going to get bored, so I want to learn suspension servicing because I live here, I ride these bikes, there's no one else doing it. So they've come and they've learned, and it's because they're keen to learn and they've got a goal for it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Reflecting, what lessons in cycling become clearer in hindsight?
Why things broke. Why something didn't work, I think.
Yeah.
More experience on making those mistakes and learning from them is the big one. Rear derailleurs were always the one for me. I think there were so many like potential things that could go wrong with it.
Yeah.
You know, limit screws, B tension, chain length, cassette, derailleur, chain compatibility, like mech hanger compatibility, is the wheel right? I wish I would have taken a more holistic view at the bike in my early days, to go, I can see what's not happening, what is influencing why that's not working. Because it's very easy to go, oh, I know mech hangers are a problem, so I bet it's the mech hanger that's not right. And you get your straightener out and you straighten up and it still doesn't work, and you're like, oh, well, it must be the jockey wheel, it must be this, it must be that, and it's something completely different. They've just not done the quick release up, they've just wound it on, something stupid like that. It's just not in properly. So, yeah, going back and just being able to step back and understand the whole thing rather than jumping to conclusions, because I was very much a jump to conclusion person back in the day.
Sometimes it is the simplest things.
Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's something completely different.
I had a guy that was when I worked for one of the shops, it was consistent creaking. Consistent creaking, and he kept thinking it was his bottom bracket.
Yeah.
But strangely, it didn't happen when he was out of the saddle.
Yeah.
But he kept thinking it was his BB. And he brought it back in, he had his BB changed. They checked all the, I'm pretty sure it was a press fit, they checked all the alignment, everything like that. It came in, it got pulled apart, put back together. And eventually it was a simple nut and bolt check that determined that the bolts around his seat rails weren't tight.
Yeah.
And his seat was the thing that was creaking, not his bottom bracket.
Yeah.
Which I think made a few of the mechanics slightly red in the face. But yeah, it's the bicycle is a phenomenal invention, but it is so interconnected with its whole self.
Yes.
Everything, you know, carbon fiber is conductive. Greases are sticky and messy. There are so many different cable material types, weather exposures, different ways to seal things, different types of bearings. There are so many possibilities, and I think it's time with your hands on them that really allows you to, and riding them, and fixing things that break. They really gives you that overview.
Yeah. The real world experience needed to be a good mechanic is by far the most important thing. And I know we touched on it earlier, and the more single shops or single person shops that we have, and you don't have that like peer-to-peer time, it's really challenging. I think the internet and social media is a positive for this, because we can see other people working. We can like develop relationships with people. Like I've got a friend called Martin from Manchester. We're friends on Instagram and Facebook. We even do challenges together on Duolingo. But I've never met him.
Oh, okay.
But I know his kid. Like I know everything about him. Whenever he has a problem, he'll get in contact. I can sort him out with parts and stuff like that. And I see him doing things. So I'm like, okay, that's cool that you're doing it that way. It's really interesting. And I learned through him through never having met him. So that is a positive of social media. I don't think there are many positives of it at the minute, but that is definitely one of them. And then events like going to training and like trade shows as well. Really looking forward to Core Bike because I've got quite a few people who have had training, like can come and see me. People who want training, we can have those conversations and you actually get to meet people.
Yeah.
For an industry that is so small on an island, we're still pretty disconnected from one another.
Yeah.
So it's really nice that these events happen. It would be good if there were more training specific events as well. You know, you mentioned Graham Freestone King earlier. Like I know he's pushing to have a bit more cohesion within the UK and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think he's pushing for like a professional accreditation sort of standard, the Institute of Bicycle Mechanics or something like that. Because we have the ACT, but that is...
It's the Association of Cycle Traders.
Yeah, that's for cycle traders, not for bicycle mechanics. So that's more focused on like POS, EPOS, CRM stuff. More stuff that helps the business function from an admin point of view. Less so... Okay, so I mean, you get a bit of a discount off SciTech.
Yeah,
but
they are associated with SciTech. Aren't they?
Yeah. They've got links with SciTech, and I think it's discounts with whether or not you're booking in the north or whether or not you're booking in Milton Keynes, Oxford way. It's that's available as an option. But in terms of something that collectively says that I'm a bike mechanic, and I can demonstrate that. For me, when I did my engineering degree, I did 5 years at university. I come out with a certificate. Am I an engineer? No.
In paper only.
In paper only. So the next steps for me as a professional engineer are to do chartership. But to do that, I have to show a group of peers irrefutable evidence that I have upheld the standards of the IMechE, that I have conducted work in a professional and safe manner, and that I am competent and qualified to receive that chartership. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing.
It's accountability, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a demonstration. I think there's, people will walk through shop doors and say, how much is it going to be to service my bike? And my full service now, and it doesn't even cover like every single item, is well over £200. Labour, just labour. Base service 55, and then I think it's 125, 129, something like that for your mid-tier service. And they step up. You will get people come through the door and say, well, you're charging an awful lot more than Burley Bob Bikes down the road. Why? But it's time with hands-on.
Yeah.
The speed at which the problem is fixed, the handling of how the problem is fixed, how the bike comes back to you, and all the other professional elements that go with it. If someone doesn't have insurance, or doesn't heat their facility, or at the moment I work out of my garage, but I still have to pay for the car, I still have to pay for the electricity. The electric heater in there costs a bloody fortune to run. All of those consumables add up. Yeah. And you have no idea how much people, the public have no idea how much bike shops spend on nitrile gloves.
Oh, no.
You buy expensive ones so they don't break. You buy cheap ones and they keep breaking. So, Toby, thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you for having me on.
Is there anything that we haven't talked about today that you think we should be talking about? Just either you and me or industry-wide? I
think we've covered most of it. I'm in a slightly biased position, but I genuinely think that people need to reach out for training more.
Yeah.
We're all open to hearing what people need. It's got to be a two-way conversation. So if anyone does have any training needs or wants or anything like that, like, I'd love them to get in contact with me. I know my peers at other brands are the same. They're always listening to what people actually want. I don't want mechanics to like be embarrassed or ashamed that they don't know something. Like, we've all got to understand that it's okay to not know everything.
Yeah.
Especially as we covered earlier, like when things change, like you can't know how it works. You know, like they're closely guarded secrets. Like if we change an air spring or, you know, something like that, like you shouldn't know about it, because if you do know about it, we've done a bad job protecting our products.
Yeah.
So yeah, reach out, ask questions, like be humble enough to admit that we don't know everything. Wanting to know it is the key step.
I think there needs to be a sort of understanding that not everyone's a competitor as well.
Yeah.
You can have 20 bike shops in the same city, and they're not all going to serve the same people, and we can all learn from each other.
Yeah.
And that's why I am keen to sit down with more people that are running businesses that may even be competitive to mine, or sit alongside mine. The point is to learn, to continue to make cycling accessible for everyone.
Yeah.
And to make it awesome. Of course, people are going to get shitty with us if this and the other happen. But cycling's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It's something we all learn, or nearly all of us learned to do as a kid.
Yeah.
To like have fun, and it's
freedom.
Yeah, it's just an overgrown toy for us all. And I think we forget that it is meant to be fun.
Yeah. Toby, thanks so much.
Thanks, Josh.